guns and the BB guns, it's not like the Red Ryder you might have had as a kid. These are now designed to look like the real McCoy. This is a real automatic rifle. This is the rifle that Mr. Crawford was carrying that day. But again, that is a circumstance you have to weigh into this. The fact that Mr. Crawford is on a cell phone. Again, none of this, it's anything he's doing wrong, but like most people on a cell phone, after a while, you become distracted. And he probably, I even told his family at one point, he probably didn't realize he's still carrying that gun. And maybe that's why when he's talking on the phone, he's swinging it from time to time. The fact that the 911 caller is familiar with guns. You know, a lot of people in that store, as we're watching this video, they don't even notice Mr. Crawford. They just walk right by him. But the 911 caller, and again, he's trying to be a good citizen, reporting as best he can what he's seeing. He calls up. If he's not there that day, we may not be here. You know, the officer training 2 weeks prior. It's good training. It's what they're taught. But just 2 weeks before this, they're told, if you got a situation like this, you got to bust your tail and get in there and confront it. And I think the final circumstance, he's still on the phone when these officers confront him. He's probably not paying attention to what he's doing, and this happens. I know from experience that no officer wants to be in a situation where they're putting their lives on the line and they're possibly going to have to take the life of someone else. And I'm sure if Wal-Mart would have announced over the public speaker that day the same information that the police officers were given, we want to let all our customers know that there's a man in here with a rifle, he's loading it, and he's pointing it at people. Everyone in that store, including Mr. Crawford, would have stampeded out of there. Yet we expect our police officers to not only not run from those situations, but to run towards those situations. And their split-second decisions in confronting these type of situations are not a crime unless based on all the circumstances, a jury believes that they were unreasonable in what they perceived that day and the way they reacted to it. And even the Supreme Court of the United States says you can't judge this sitting at home on a Sunday afternoon, drinking a beer, watching the Bengals. You have to put yourself in their shoes at that time with the information they had. And again, that's what was given to the grand jury. The grand jury listened to all the evidence, voted on it, and decided that the police officers were justified in their use of force that day. You know, our job, to Stacy DeGraff and Reed, she was side by side with me in all of this. It's normally very easily because usually in our cases, it's good versus evil. And it's good to be a prosecutor because you're always representing the good guy. A lot of our cases these days are actually evil versus evil because a lot of our cases have degenerated into one bad guy killing another bad guy. And it doesn't make it right, but again, we don't have to deal with a situation where you have to deal with here where you really don't have a bad guy. You know, Mr. Crawford did not commit any crime that day. I don't know why he carried the gun like he did, but again, as we told his parents, he didn't commit a crime. He didn't do anything wrong. At the same time, the police officers have to be judged on everything they had. All I can say about this case, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy for the Crawford family. It's a tragedy for the family of Angela Williams, who died because of all the stress and commotion from this. And it's also a tragedy for the police officers who has to live the rest of their lives knowing that even though they had a justified use of force, they took the life of someone that didn't need to die.